Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrew. Today we're going to go over 10 series that I need to continue in this coming year. I've read at least the first book in all of these and I need to continue to read them because I enjoyed the first book. I had such a mediocre reading year last year that I need to continue a series that I enjoyed from last year or before that. Okay, so the first one is She Needs Absolutely No Introduction. It is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, I did enjoy the first book. I have a spoiler-free review of the first book, but honestly, if you're on Book Talk, BookTube for 2 seconds, you're gonna know this story. Yes, I liked it. Now, Sarah J Maas has a lot of issues. There's a lot of things that you should be reading about. You should be aware of her stuff. I'm white. I'm not gonna be the person to have that discussion. I don't think it's my place, but I did enjoy the book. I want to continue the series. Moving on. The next book is the Poppy War series. I am about 200 pages into the second book and still enjoying it, but I kind of need a break because it is a lot. There is a lot of plot that Miss Kwong gives you, but oh, it's so good. She's so phenomenal. Also, hopefully by the time this video is going up, the HarperCollins strike stuff has all been resolved, but there's actually a really good video on Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany's channel that you should check out where she interviews one of the people in the strike. You can get a lot of questions answered there, and you should follow them on Instagram. I believe it's HTP Union, but I'll leave it also in my description as well. You should get all your research done, and you should donate. You should do all the things that you can do because these people just want a living wage in New York City. They're not asking for much. They're really not. But I do want to continue the series. I will be holding reviews for the series, but I want to read the series and I'll just review it when I can. Next up, I will use any excuse to hold up this cover. It's the Bear and the Nightingale series. I desperately need to continue the series. The audiobooks for the series are trash. Like, I'm so sorry to that woman who reads this. To me, I hated it so much, but with my eyes, stunning. This is about Vasya. She's like this girl who grows up. She's very interested in the forest and like these demon creatures, and it's so good. It's just so good. It's very folklore heavy, it's fantastic. I need to read this series. Like, this and the Poppy War are like my two most anticipated continuations in a series. So why haven't I read them? And then we have the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I feel like I've seen many people give the first book like a 3, and then they've given the second book like a 4 or a 5. So I'm hoping that's my journey. And then they kind of seem to hate the third book. It seems like a lot of people don't love Hobb's concluding novels in her trilogies, but I don't know. I wanted to at least read the Farseer trilogy. I was debating on whether I wanted to just skip and to match it, but I think I'm gonna want to have read all of her books. So I'm gonna just read the next book after Assassin's Apprentice and just see how I feel. There we go. It's fantastic writing. It's very emotional. There's, powers of people who can like talk to animals, and it's kind of looked down on if you can talk to the animals, and there's people who can like listen to each other, and that's like the superior magic. And there's like it just sounds so good. And I really want to continue I want to at least read the Farseer trilogy this year. Next up we have the Dresden Files, which I think I've read the first 2. And I think people say the 3rd or 4th is when it gets really good. So I'm excited to continue that. I do have a review for the first book as well. And I just find that the humor in the series kind of works for me. And I feel like the urban fantasy-ness of it is my jam. I know a lot of people are like, people who aren't always into urban fantasy are saying as the stories progress that it gets more into their jam. So I'm hoping that like I still feel that way because I really actually have I enjoyed the first book. The second book was just a 3-star for me, but I'm hoping that the 3rd and 4th kind of pick up a steam for me. But yeah, it's like a detective wizard man in Chicago. Like, I love magic settings in the real world. I just love like the idea of being able to see magic like in a real world setting. I don't know. It's just, for me, it's great. Okay, next we have the Villains duology, Vicious. I believe she is going to write a 3rd book though, but I do want to continue the second book because there is absolutely, in my opinion, enough here to be intrigued into what could happen next. I know many people think this should be a standalone or that only the first book is good. Some people think this is V.E. Schwab's only good book, but for me, I really enjoyed it, but I really enjoyed it. Like, it was like in my top 20 of the year. It wasn't in my top 10, but it was like in my top 20. And I'm very intrigued by the systems that she set up in this book and what could happen next and what kind of political implications could occur. Next up, we have the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson, which I believe has its 5th book out now. And it's just a very kind of cozy mystery series that I really enjoyed, that I also plan to continue. I read the first 3. I loved the first 3 the most. Like, I actually really enjoyed. I know people say that it was too long or that it was kind of dragged out. I thought it was kind of perfect. I liked the school setting, the eclecticness of all the characters. I really enjoyed it. So for me, it was great. And then the 4th book was pretty good, but I do think it could have been longer. So I'm hoping that the 5th book is like part 1 of a duology, but we'll see. but I do love Stevie as a main character. I like following her. So then we have the Sherlock Holmes series, which I was, when I was making, currently reading videos, was always on there. I think I'm just gonna try to like read one a month, because I was like, I'm just gonna binge it all. No, if I just read one a month or one every few months, like I think I'll enjoy the process more that way. So that's what I plan to do. I just need to finish. I think I read the first 2, and I believe there's 8 or 9. So I just need to read like the 3rd one, and then, and the 4th and the 5th. I just need to read them like that. And I think I'll enjoy it more if I just don't put pressure on myself to binge a whole series. Then we have the Every Heart a Doorway series, or the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. The first book was, again, something that I found to be very intriguing in its setup of what's to come. I love the discussion around the worlds and the different like virtuousness of all the worlds, so I'm very intrigued to continue that. It's about, people who come back to the real world after having all of these struggles with like being in their own magical world and having to cope with no longer being able to go to the magical world. So apologies, I was cut off because my camera died, but I believe I was saying that I need to continue reading the Every Heart a Doorway series by Shauna McGuire, and I think I hopefully gave you enough information about it. Okay, and then the final series that I need to continue is the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, because I need to accept that I love mystery. I think I haven't continued because there's not really any audiobooks for this series except for the first one. So I checked out the physical and I really need to read it. It's a YA mystery. It's got people, they don't really have supernatural powers, but they have like enhanced abilities and stuff, and they're all in this, like, it's not really a boarding school, it's like it's an FBI crime solving program, and I really enjoyed the first book, so I want to continue and read the second book, and also just read more Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I know everyone is freaking out about the Inheritance Games, it seems like, but I want to read that as well as the Fixer Duology. I want to read all of her stuff. It seems like she, from the first, just the one book I read of hers, like she could, she could be a hit for me personally. So those are 10 series I would like to continue this year, if not finish. Hopefully I enjoy them enough to finish them. So if you've read any of these or any other series by these authors, let me know in the comments down below. I will leave my Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter as well for you to check out if you'd like. Otherwise, have a great day. Bye.